everyone, this is again Jessie Ramses, a first-year college from Bachelor of Elementary Education, Section 1A. I am here now to discuss one of the steps of ADI instructional design process, which is step 4 implement. But I refer this video on my answers in step 1, step 2, and step 3. I usually to compile it and put it in step 4 implement. So the first thing that I do in this activity is to think a topic of my instructional plan activities. My topic titled by read phrases, sentences, and short stories consisting of words with initial and final consonant blends. This is for grade 3 MTB-MLE. And now, I'll go first for the step 1 analyze. There are 3 questions from this step. First, what is your learning competencies, curriculum standard, and performance standard? So, my learning competencies, curriculum standard, and performance standard of my plan activities. First, the learning competencies of my plan activities to read words with initial consonant blends L, R, S, followed by short vowel sounds black, frag, and step. The curriculum standard of my plan activities was to child demonstrate the understanding of letter representation of sound, that letters as symbolized have names and distinct sounds. Lastly, the performance standard of my planning activities was the child shall be able to identify the letter names and sounds as well. For letter B question, what are the relevant characteristics of your learners that you will consider? So the relevant characteristics of my plan activities, there are 4. There are 4 relevant characters. First, the active listening. Second, the reflective thinkers. Third, the appreciative listening. And the last one is creative thinkers. For the last question for step 1, given the learning competencies, learning goals, and your learners' needs, what learning task will you give them? So the competencies, goals, needs that I use to think of my plan activities. First, the competencies is to help students read, make stories, and build upon what they know, how they think, and what they can do. For the goals, to develop their communication skills. Lastly, the needs of my plan activities that every student needs self-knowledge to know how to learn as well. For step 2 design, there are 2 questions from this. First, what are your specific learning objectives? Actually, there are 3 domains of objectives in using the instructional plan activities. But on my plan activities, the learning objectives that I use is there are 3 also, the understand, analyze, and evaluate. For understand, you need to use to classify, describe, explain, identify, recognize, report, and translate. For analyzed, you need to differentiate, organize the initial and consonant blends of my topic. Lastly, the evaluate, defend, support, appraise the sentences and short stories consisting of words. For letter B questions, how will you measure if students have achieved their objectives? What assessment tools and process you will use? Actually, I can say that my students have achieved the objectives if they can able to move forward at their own pace as they master or understand knowledge, skills, and consisting of words. Another one is that I can say that my students achieved the objectives. I gonna use an assessment so that I can say that they can totally understand the objectives. Assessment is I'm gonna use tests, quizzes, and other activities that are used to measure my students' performances. For the step 3, develop, there are also 2 questions from this. The first one is what instructional strategies will you use? So instructional strategies, there are also a lot of instructional strategies, but on my plan activities, the instructional strategies that I use is learning. Learning to emphasize the importance of effective questioning and thinking skills in the learning process. Letter B question, what logistic issues impact your lesson? Actually, there are a lot of issues while I'm doing this activities or instructional plan activities. While tackling this content of mine, the logistic issues that impact on my lesson was planning and managing the words they wanted to put in every sentences or steps that I did. Education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow to belongs who prepare for it today. Thank you for watching.